All right, I guess this is 3. Trying to figure this thing out. Anyway, welcome back. The video that I'm going to do tonight is of technical in nature, really. If you're a musician or a guitar tech type person, you'll be very familiar with some of the challenges occasionally we have with noise, and particularly hum, 60 cycle hum, grounding issues. I just picked up this Tele about 2 months ago, and I love it. It's a limited edition Squier Tele there. It's it wasn't high dollar at all, but I am trying to get back into electric guitar, which is something I have not been doing for quite some time. Probably 7 or 8 years ago, I sold my last electric equipment off, so I haven't had an electric guitar since then. But it really is one of my favorite instruments to play, and so this Tele is a pretty good entry level guitar for me to get back into it. So I've been just learning scales, mainly blues scales, and things like that. So the issue with this guitar is when it's plugged into my amplifier and I'm driving some effects and things like that, I get a snapping and a popping when I pick. Sometimes if my fingers hit the pick guard in certain places, you'll hear it snap and pop in the amplifier. So I believe that's a grounding problem of some sort, of shielding problem, maybe not necessarily grounding, but a shielding problem. And I'm building up some static maybe behind the plastic pick guard, so the pick guard's not grounded well either. So what we're going to try to do in this video is we're going to tear this thing apart. We're going to take everything apart. I'm going to shield the inside of the guitar cavity and make sure I have connectivity to ground on every item that's on the pick guard itself, and then my bridge and bridge pickup, and then the tone and volume and pickup selector knob. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. Might be a little bit longer video than normal, but we'll cut it and splice it and do all kinds of things. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to strip everything away. I'm going to take everything else. It's going to take me a little while. I'm going to come back and show you exactly what that cavity looks like, and then what we're going to do from there and what I'm going to use. Okay, so we'll be back. Anyway, so far I've got the strings off, laid off to the side here. I've got the control module screws out, just 2 screws there, and pull it out. I've got the pick guard with the neck mounted pickup on it over here, and we'll be dealing with that later. So what I was going to explain was that the pickups are pretty simple. The black pickup lead goes to a ground. In this case, it's grounded to this pot. Can you see that there? There's no problem there. And then the white goes to one pole of the 3-way switch that we're using here, pickup selector switch. And same thing for the neck pickup. It's got a yellow and black, same deal. So black to a ground, same ground spot on the volume pot casing, which is a grounded connection. And then you've got the yellow pickup wire, which goes to the other end of the pickup selector switch. So just 4 screws in this bridge. Okay, I take that back. This is not a, there's a 5th screw holding the bridge in here, and we're going to get that out. Okay, so where we were at now, we had 5 screws in the bridge plate instead of the 4 that I thought was there. And so we've got that out, and as you can see, no shielding in the bridge. Okay, well, I take that back. There's a little, not sure if you can see this. I'm going to zoom in on that. It's not the type of shielding you would expect. to be very good here. So basically it's a simple wire right here they have coming out of the cavity. It's just pressured against the bottom of the bridge. Well, we're going to do better than that when we go back with this tape. All right. Okay, let me show you something here. Now, we've got everything broken loose. We're about ready to desolder some things and put all this off to the side, but I wanted to show you something here. You'll notice that in this cavity, there is a black paint. So shielding paint, if you know anything about shielding paint, is black. However, when I check this, and I'm just using a multimeter, and if you can see down below on the screen my meter, you see when I put the two leads together, it's conductivity, connectivity, and they go to a zero, basically zero. 0 ohms. I'm on the resistance setting. So I can put this probe and on touching the black paint here, and I can touch any other part of black paint, and I do not have conductivity. So it still shows an open circuit, which means this is not shielding paint. Oh my gosh. There is some conductivity in here, this paint, but that was weird. There's nothing here though. So this is going to be a problem. This is exactly why we're doing what we're doing. What we're going to do is we're going to take all this out. We're going to expose the cavities, including this one, which is not painted but is grounded by one little wire sticking out there, which is not an effective ground. Two things I'm going to do on this during this project. One is I've got some copper coated foil tape. All right, it's called copper foil tape. It's conductive. What we're going to do is we're going to fill these cavities. We're going to line each of these cavities with this tape. So it takes a while. It's a process where you got to cut a little bit. You have to fit it. You have to press it in. You have to work it in and make sure it's has good the elastic on here. I mean elastic. The adhesive on here is sticking well. And not only that, but this is going to overlap in a few places. So we also need to make sure that the adhesive on this is conductive too, and that we're getting from one piece to another, we're getting conductivity. And so that's one thing we're going to do. And then while I was in here, decided I'm going to make another small upgrade, and this is a bridge pickup plate. We're going to mount this just right to the underside of the bridge pickup like that. It's got threaded holes in it. Should go right on there, and this should also help and also beef up that bridge pickup so it's not quite so thin. So I'll be back after I get all this disconnected, and I'm going to take a few pictures of the tape, and I might video some of the taping portion and show you what I've got going on in there, but I'll be right back. Also, one of the things you want to make sure you do in this process, as with any process, is make sure you have good documentation about the things you're taking apart. Now, I made a mistake on this, and I thought I could get my screwdriver in between the two saddles, but I could not. And so this is what happened. Obviously this thing is supposed to be straight and not bent like that. So that is a saddle adjustment screw to set your intonation. So I'm going to buy a new screw, at least one new screw, probably buy a set so I have some extras. Another thing you want to make sure you do is make sure you document how things come apart. The wiring in particular, I find it really easy just to take pictures. Now I just recently replaced this switch, this three-way switch, so I know how it's wired, but I'm going to come back in here and loosen or desolder the white one and the yellow one, and then also the grounds where they come over from each pickup. Okay, so that's 1, 2, that's 3, that's four little spots. I'm going to desolder, but I'm going to take a picture before I do that, and so that always helps. Okay, well, I kind of went out of order, as I'm prone to do sometimes, and I was getting ready to set all this up to get the tape in, but I thought, let me just try this pickup bridge plate. And so I got this, and it's supposed to screw right onto the back of the bridge pickup, which looks like this. So it's let me just get this set up here real quick. Sorry. One-handed operation is not easy. So theoretically, let me get this other screw in here so I can show you what is the issue. Okay. So here are your height adjusting screws for the bridge pickup, right? And you screw them in tighter, it raises the bridge level of the pickup, right? So theoretically, this plate is supposed to go right on. Let me put it on the right way. And if you can see, the holes are supposed to line up. However, these screws lose travel before they engage in this. So magnetically, it'll stay on there. Probably not going to move. But what I'm going to do is get some longer screws for this, so it will have enough to go through the plate, plus adjust the height of the pickup as well. So that's what we're going to do. So that's a little bit on hold. I might have some of those laying around. I may not. So I might just have to either run to the store or order these, depending on what the availability is. But we'll get back on that. Okay. So put that off to the side. It's always about, one thing I've learned about working on these things, it's always about like delayed gratification. So you start a project, and invariably something's going to be a holdup, right? It doesn't matter how well you plan, but planning is essential to minimize those things. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. It's always a little bit of something, like bending that saddle adjustment screw. I put too much behind it, and they're very soft screws, and that was my fault. So we live, we learn. We'll get some more replacement screws, and we'll be good to go. All right, no damage, no harm. What we're going to do is take a look at all this right here. We're going to start using that tape. And so the tape, I'm going to tape the process a little bit and show you. I'm going to tip this up at certain times to show you progress. But basically, you want to come in here, make sure all the dirt's out of it, make sure there's nothing's loose and flaking off in that paint that was on there. It looked like apparently it had a little bit of conductivity, if I remember, because we did get a little bit of blip, but it's not well done. It's inconsistent, and we're going to make it a whole lot better. So stay tuned on that. Okay, well, getting the cellophane wrapper off the tape was half the battle. All right, so here it is. It's 2-inch wide metal tape, sticky on one side, obviously. So basically it's cut to fit. So I'm going to lay some of these in a little bit like this, and overlay as best I can, and we're just going to wrap every single part of this. Then we're going to cut the holes out of each of the cavities. You couldn't see that. Of course not. Let's see if we can get that a little better. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it in like this and do strips. This. So I'm going to give it a shot that way and see how it goes. This is not a even cavity, so this one is going to be interesting. But we'll work on it and see how it goes. Okay, so 15-20 minutes later, you have this. Okay, can't see that, can you? There we go. All right, we have this. You can look in there. You can see the holes. I did not get all the way inside. They're just super difficult. I'll ground it. So now all I have to do is come in. You got a big hole here for wire feed. You got a big hole here for wire feed. And a tiny hole in here somewhere for the feed over to this. And I'm going to find those and poke those out. And we should be done. But let me show you something. I wanted to show you this. So it doesn't matter how many. This really took me a while to do, but I'm not too concerned about how long it took me. I'm going to put that meter there and show you a few things. So as I tap around here, I have conductivity, excuse me, everywhere you can't see that one. Let's get that right. There we go. Everywhere I press, right? So it doesn't matter where I find the spot. Now everything is conductive, and this will go right to ground. That ground screw is going to go right in there, and it's all going to be grounded, so that's good. So I'm going to continue on. This took about took longer than I thought it would, but this is my first time doing this, so I'll give myself a little break here. And I had to put quite a few small pieces in here to make this work, but it looks great to me. I'll keep going on with the other cavities now. Okay, so we got the holes, or the copper shielding tape all in. See there? Nice and uniform. We got the holes chased through from everything. So what we have to do now is connect the cavities. So I'm going to get some wire and do some quick soldering in. Just a couple little pieces, don't need much. And keep everything grounded together. Because if you take a look at this right now, if we look at this and go from cavity to cavity, you got nothing, right? Nope. No continuity. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to make sure it's all good to go there. All right.